Let me ask you something. When was the last time you made a decision that was truly yours? Not shaped by fear of judgment, not filtered through how it would look, not adjusted to keep someone else comfortable. Most people don't realize this, but nearly every emotional struggle they carry traces back to one silent habit, caring too much about what others think. Not because you're weak, not because you're broken, but because you were taught slowly, subtly, that approval equals safety. Today, we're stepping into a radically different idea, one that feels uncomfortable at first, but deeply liberating once it settles in your nervous system. We're exploring the philosophy behind the book, The Courage to be Disliked, co-written by Japanese philosopher and psychologist Ichiro Kashimi and author Fumite Koga. This is not a book about rebellion. It's not about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about reclaiming your psychological freedom. So take a breath. Slow down. Chapter 1. Why worry is never just in your head. We often say, "This is my problem, my anxiety, my insecurity." But Kashimi and Koga challenge this assumption. They explain that there is no such thing as purely internal worry. Every fear you carry, every doubt, every moment of self-consciousness contains the shadow of another person. Even when you're alone, you don't feel anxious in isolation. You feel anxious in relation. You worry about how you'll be seen, misunderstood, rejected. In Adlerian psychology, the framework this book is built upon, all psychological suffering is relational. This doesn't mean other people are to blame. It means your inner world is shaped by how you position yourself among others. And once you understand that, something powerful happens. Your unhappiness stops feeling mysterious. If this resonates, stay with me and consider subscribing to the Mind Kit, where we explore healing not by fixing ourselves, but by finally understanding ourselves. Chapter 2. Happiness is not about confidence, it's about courage. Most people believe they're unhappy because they lack confidence. Kashimi and Koga disagree. They say, it's not confidence you lack, it's courage. Specifically, the courage to be disliked. Because happiness comes with a cost, and that cost is disapproval. To live authentically means some people won't understand you. Some won't approve. Some may even resent the freedom you embody. And so most people choose something else instead. They choose safety. They choose approval. They choose emotional conformity. But in doing so, they quietly trade away their freedom. Freedom, according to Adler, is not being liked. Freedom is being unafraid of being disliked. And when you finally allow that fear to exist without obeying it, your relationships change. Your body relaxes. Your life becomes lighter. Chapter 3. Adler's Radical View of Human Nature. At the heart of this book lies the psychology of Alfred Adler. Adler believed something revolutionary. You are not a collection of broken parts. You are a unified whole. Your thoughts, emotions, habits, and behaviors are not random. They are all organized around a goal, even when you're not conscious of it. This is where Adler differs from trauma-based determinism. Your past does not cause your present. It influences the goals you choose. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people unconsciously choose goals that keep them stuck, because being stuck feels safer than risking rejection. Chapter 4. Your lifestyle is a choice, even when it doesn't feel like one. Adler didn't define personality as something fixed. He called it a lifestyle, a pattern of thinking, feeling, and acting that you chose, often very early in life, because it seemed like the best way to survive emotionally. You didn't choose it consciously, but you continue to choose it now. For example, what we call antisocial behavior is not a defect. It's a strategy, a way of avoiding pain, a way of protecting the self. And once you see this, judgment dissolves, for yourself and for others. Chapter 5. Why emotions follow goals, not the other way around. We usually believe emotions control us. Adler flips this entirely. He suggests that emotions are tools, created to serve our goals. Kashimi and Koga offer a striking example. Imagine someone who desperately wants a job, but becomes so anxious before the interview that they cancel. They say, "If only my anxiety would disappear, I could succeed." But Adler would ask a different question. What if the real goal isn't success, but avoiding failure? In this view, anxiety isn't the problem. It's the solution. Fear protects the person from the risk of rejection. This doesn't mean they're lying to themselves. It means their nervous system chose safety over growth. And once you understand this, shame fades. If this insight already feels like it's loosening something inside you, let me know in the comments. Your engagement helps this message reach people who need it. Chapter 6. Trauma does not decide your future. Meaning does. This is where the book becomes deeply healing. Kashimi and Koga do not deny trauma. They challenge its authority over your future. They are right. We are not determined by our experiences, but by the meaning we give them. Two people can experience the same pain and build entirely different lives. Not because one is stronger, but because they choose different meanings. This aligns beautifully with Jungian shadow work. Healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about reclaiming authorship over your story. And if this perspective feels grounding, consider sharing this video. It might be the reframe someone else has been waiting for. Chapter 7. Why some people choose unhappiness. Here's one of the book's most unsettling ideas. Unhappiness can be a strategy, not consciously, but functionally. Chronic unhappiness often serves a relational goal. It can excuse an action, avoid risk, elicit sympathy, or justify withdrawal, especially when approval feels impossible. Rather than facing rejection, some people decide, something is wrong with me. This belief hurts, but it feels stable. Because if you're flawed, you don't have to try. And if you don't try, you can't fail. But this belief traps you. Chapter 8. Approval turns life into a competition. When approval becomes the goal, relationships stop being safe. They become transactional. You begin to compare, compete, measure your worth against others. Someone else's success feels like your failure. This is what Adler called vertical relationships, built on hierarchy and comparison. But healthy relationships are horizontal, based on mutual respect, not ranking. Once you release competition, envy dissolves. Chapter 9. The hidden cost of sacrifice. Unhappy people often believe love is earned through sacrifice. But sacrifice creates resentment when it's conditional. If you give in order to receive, that's not love. That's negotiation. True connection begins when you stop keeping score. Chapter 10. The alternative. Contribution over approval. So what's the healthier goal? Kashimi and Koga say, contribution. Not to be praised, not to be seen as good, but to feel useful. When you genuinely believe your presence matters, approval becomes unnecessary. You no longer ask, do they like me? You ask, am I living truthfully? And that shift changes everything. Chapter 11. Why simply existing is enough. This may be the most tender insight of all. You don't need to earn your worth. Your existence already contributes. Humans are wired for connection. Your presence matters, even in silence. This belief allows self-acceptance, and self-acceptance dissolves comparison. Chapter 12. Living in the present without abandoning the future. Happiness isn't postponed. It's practiced now, not by achieving greatness, but by finding meaning in movement. If your life ended today, would you feel you were becoming? Even if you hadn't arrived? Finally, chapter, the courage that changes everything. Some people will never like you. This is not a flaw in you. It is a fact of life. And once you accept this, once you stop negotiating your soul for approval, you become free. That freedom is the courage to be disliked, and that courage is the doorway to peace.